morning, everybody. So, as I wake up on this glorious Wednesday, I figured that not only would I do my course lesson, but that I would just send blessings and love to all who watch this today. I know that the times are changing around us and out there, and there's a lot of questions that people have about everything that's taking place, about the world, about themselves, about their life, and people are seeking the answers, and they're trying to find it in any way they can. And at first, it's helpful to look outside of the self, and thus I'm thankful to be a contributor to this help and be able to make these videos for people, because then in essence, right, these are outside of themselves, so they can seek and find them if need be. So I'm really noticing that my life has been drastically conforming to my thought change, and that as I have given my mind and my thoughts and my life to our Creator, that my life has been miraculous, and I am here as a mere demonstration to the people that perfect love and equality is possible, that healing of our inner minds will heal our bodies and heal our lives and the conflicts in which we perceive to be there. I am an advocate that world peace is possible, and this happens through us. But we first must heal our own minds before we can even consider to heal this world or help anybody else or anything like that. The power is within us. And as we become aware of our power, of the difference between truth and illusion, and that we have the choice in that, then life becomes easy and effortless, because then it's done with our Creator for the benefit of ourselves and all. Okay? So I believe that if you're watching this video right now, it's because you are eager to learn, and you're willing to grow, and you're willing to go within. And thus I thank you. And I am here to remind you that there is an internal teacher within you that is eager and willing and wanting to help transmute and transform all of your worries, your fearful thoughts, your burdened experiences, so that you may see only the light and love that we are, so that only truth may remain. And forgiveness is the power of that. And I think the key is knowing that we don't know how to forgive. We don't know how to heal, right? We don't know any of these things because we are trapped in our ego mind. We are trapped in our split mind. And thus, when we perceive ourselves to be split, then we also perceive that we are far from the solution. But in fact, the solution is within us, within our own mind. And we can access it. With simple willingness and dedication to go within to where the cause is. So, with that being said, let's just close our eyes together here and embrace the stillness within the self, allowing the breath to flow freely as it flows through the body like ripples in the ocean. Allowing the breath to come through the top of the head as we allow our mind to expand its consciousness. Allowing us to forget that we are not. Forget about this body as we are not this body. We lay this body to rest right now as we tune into the inner world, listening to the voice within, and listening to the guidance that's given us through me, that we may accept it for exactly what we need to hear today. And thus hold this lesson today, which is, it can be but my gratitude I earn, in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls, to guide us and lead us through life. So let's allow this thought to marinate within our minds right now. It is but my gratitude I earn. And we will now learn what this thought means together. And as we become willing to hold this thought in our mind, the light of this thought will allow it to dispel all darkness within. Holding faith in our hearts, hope in our minds, knowing that we are now headed into the direction of healing our minds, lives, an entire world. Especially considering we are all one. If I do it for me, it reverberates to you. So amen. Let's do this together, people. All right. So here we go. Here is the second step we take to free our mind from the belief in outside force pitted against your own. Boom! First sentence, right? Basically, it is stating here that we are going to take the second step to free our mind from the belief that the outside world is against us. Okay? You make attempts at kindness and forgiveness, yet you turn them to attack again, unless you find external gratitude in lavish thanks. Right? So it's saying still, we have kindness and forgiveness that we're acting on, but then we still have attacked thoughts and fear thoughts that come in also. Okay. It says your gifts must be received with honor, lest they be withdrawn. And so you think God's gifts are loans at best, at worst deceptions which would cheat you of defenses to ensure when he strikes he will not fail to kill. So as we pause here for a second, it's saying that the gifts that we receive, which is the holiness of God, being a holy child of God, we must receive with honor in order for the attack and the fear to be withdrawn. Right? But as we think that God's gifts are loans and just a momentary experience, then we are cheating ourselves of the vastness of the perfection in which we can experience. Because we are afraid that this truth of God's thoughts, which are whole and pure, will no longer allow us to have those defenses of separation and blocking and seclusion and, defense of any kind, right? So it's just the fear mind that is standing in our way of accepting the truth of our Holy Father, right? Because we've forgotten throughout this world. We have forgotten since we grew up in this world around us, right? So we've forgotten that our power is within, right? So it says, how easily are God and guilt confused by those who know not what their thoughts can do. Right? So when we are not aware of our powerful mind, and that we have a mind of love, which is the mind that joins us as one for all eternity with God and our brothers and sisters. This is the oneness in which people speak of, okay? But this oneness is not a mere concept, and it's not a word, but it's a truth and it's a fact for all of eternity. So to be throwing around these words of oneness sometimes, and yet to be experiencing pain and attack and fear in another, is because we are confused as to what our thoughts can do, and we are confused between the difference of illusion and truth, right? So what he's saying here is that there is also these thoughts that contain guilt. They're the guilt mind, the fear mind. But both of them are not truth. One is true, the other is wholly illusion. Not holy illusion, but you get what I'm saying, right? So it says, deny your strength, and weakness must become salvation to you. Okay? So if you doubt yourself, or if you worry, or if you think you're not good enough, you are doubting the strength of being an infinite soul. You are doubting the strength of your eternal power. You're doubting your strength that we have joined with God for all eternity, which means we have his power in us to give, right? We are doubting all of this, and thus we allow weakness to be our salvation. We think weakness will save us, and we get trapped in this hole of guilt and pain and not feeling very good, right? See yourself as bound, and bars become your home. Nor will you leave the prison house or claim your strength until guilt and salvation are not seen as one, and freedom and salvation are perceived as joined, with strength beside them, to be sought and claimed and found and fully recognized. So basically Jesus is saying here, right, if we see ourselves as bound and limited and unworthy, well, then we've just put up the bars to our own crucifixion pretty much, right? So the way that we perceive ourselves is the way that it's going to be. Our mind is a creative force, and every single thought that we have has power. So if we think we are unworthy, we're building up those bars, those chains, to keep the truth and the power of God away from us, right? If we see ourselves as not good enough, or we doubt our power, right, then we're going to be living in that doubt and that guilt, and we won't embrace our fullest power because we are putting blocks between it, right? And so it's saying here that as soon as we recognize that our strength and guilt do not go together, then we can put strength and freedom where it belongs. And thus there's where salvation comes from. That's where the forgiveness happens. Like whether it be called salvation, forgiveness, atonement, one-mindedness, doesn't matter. It's all the same thing for the same purpose, which is unifying our thought system. Unifying our thought system with the one God, with our one creator who made all of these souls, right? And whether we want to call God Allah, whether we want to call God universal power, whether we want to call it whatever, the symbol does not matter, right? It is the meaning behind it. It is the truth behind it. And the truth is that we did not make ourselves, right? Like the truth is that there's a higher power that created us, this world, this universe for us to be a planting ground for us to experience what it would be like to be separate from our creator. And we are experiencing that here, but now it's time to wake up and remember that this experience of separation is not true reality, that the things that we see outside of ourselves are not true reality, but in fact the true reality is within us, and whatever is true is eternal, whatever is true is unchanging, whatever is true is infinite knowledge, right? The wisdom in which we all seek. It's already within, right? It says, "The world must thank you when you offer it release from your illusions." And it does, right? "Yet your thanks belong to you as well, for its release can only mirror yours." So this is pretty much what I started off the talk. Like, as we heal ourselves, we heal the world, right? Because we are all joined, right? We are the same as the trees. We are the same as the plants. We are the same as the animals. We're the same as the people. We come from the same source, right? And so because of that, like, for instance, since I've healed my mind and I've accepted atonement for myself, which is the unification of my thought system with our creator, which is our natural state that we all can do. We just have to wake up to that truth, right? Since that has happened, my life conforms to my thought change. My world around me works with me and for me to learn my lessons. It works with me and for me to have the most perfect life possible, because my thoughts only are perfection. Right? And thus what happens out there is representative of what happens in here, and it's perfect peace and joy and understanding. And even if the form may be happening that may not be as quote-unquote joyous as one would perceive it to be or want it to be, that is not seen because the form is not true. And it's always looking to the lessons, to the light, to the Christ within one another, instead of seeing anything else. So the world really, really, really does thank you, including its people, including your own family, including everything around you, because we bring the light of truth, we bring the answers, we bring the solutions to our problems. And we recognize that there's only one problem in that world, and that one problem is separation. And as we allow ourselves to recognize that this problem of salvation first originates in the mind, then at the same time we can also say, oh my God, I have the corrective agent in my mind to teach me forgiveness so that I may become that united mind in which I already am. Right? So it's literally just a jumping from the fear mind to the love mind by saying that is the choice that I make. Boom, it's done. And if we're not experiencing perfect love and perfect peace and perfect happiness, then we have yet to accept God's will as our own. We have yet to accept atonement as our own, and that is okay. We are learning what we value more. Do I value perfect happiness, or do I value being right? Do I value perfect love, or do I value this character and this role in which I'm playing to please everybody around me? Right? We start to question our thoughts, we question our beliefs, we question our values, and we start to elicit the truth within ourselves based on what we think that we want. And then we start to let go of what we think we want and realize what we really want is to know who we are beyond anything else. And what we really want is to be at peace and to have everyone around us be at peace with us. Right? And this is the only way that we do this, is by training our own mind. Okay? So it says, your gratitude is all your gifts require, that they be a lasting offering of a thankful heart, released from hell forever.